Hey, good afternoon there, Sweet Peas. Basic Prepper Mom Myra here. And I was listening to somebody this morning, and what he said resonated. I've heard him talk about this a couple other times in his past videos, but a little backstory about that. So we had a group in our county called it was a Freedom Coalition group. And they started out, I think, for the purpose of kind of fighting for your freedoms with the whole thing that came around and this whole thing. More so focused on the schools and the lockdowns and the masking and stuff like that. That's kind of, I think, how it came about. Well, then they kind of tried to branch off a little bit to, other issues like, self-sustainability and schooling and or education. And they kind of started branching. And I don't think they had the this is going to sound really weird, infrastructure to be able to branch off and be successful. The founder of it ended up having some other stuff that he was having to deal with. So the group, after about a year or so, kind of fizzled out. Well, the founder, or one of the founders of the group, or starter person, whatever you want to call it, at one point had said in a meeting, there may come a time where we have to look at a parallel society. And at the time I thought, oh, okay, because previous to that, like a few months previous to that, had been talking to a few people about, we might just have to have this society that's just kind of, parallel, basically. Kind of a whole different system set up. And kind of got the eye roll and, oh, you're crazy, and oh, yeah, whatever, and that was about it. And then I thought, okay, maybe I am crazy. Well, then he had mentioned it, and I was like, I perked up in the meeting, and I was like, hey, that's interesting. The meetings were really great. They were very motivating. They were very inspiring. They just made you feel good. I really liked going to them and, being with like-minded people and stuff, but they unfortunately fizzled out. Well, this morning, this person was talking about, there may come a time where we have to look at a parallel society. And it was said, not by him, but by like the founder person that said, there comes a time when you are going to probably have to figure out that what's going on in our world is not fixable. It is not changeable. You can no longer do anything about it, and it is what it is. So then you're looking at that parallel society. So what do you do about things that you can't change? But you can't live like that, but you can't change it. So that really got me to thinking. Now, I had been thinking about starting up a preparedness type, homesteader type, self-sustainability type, whatever you want to call it, monthly meetings to kind of get a group of people together that are like-minded, that really want to move forward in this way of life. We also have right now a little bit more backstory. So in our county, we are known, or have been known, as a very rural, within the state, a very rural agricultural based community. We have some wineries, we have some tree farms, we have some apple farms, we have, produce, and we've ranchers and things like that, farmers. We have a lot of homesteaders in our community too, and we are a rural community to where we have land and stuff, and that's kind of why people are here. Now, unfortunately, the powers that be, this being the powers that be, are bringing big developers up here, and they're wanting to put, thousands of tract homes in, strip malls and big shopping centers, even bigger than the ones that we have. So the way of life is definitely starting to diminish. However, there is a local store that's here that is very much like-minded to be able to sell local items that people have. So, eggs and meat and honey and herbs and produce, anything that we produce as homesteaders and farmers and ranchers here in the area, this store brings it in and sells it to people. Now, it is a private store. It is a private club. It's not a co-op. It is a private club. You have to pay a membership to be there. Not anybody like driving down the road. Nobody can just come in off the street and buy whatever's there. It is a private club. By doing this, they're able to sell things that are produced locally. And now the county is trying to come in and shut them down because they're selling things that are not USDA certified, that are not, have not been inspected, that, you know, basically the big government's coming in and saying, oh, you can't do that because that's a danger to people. Heaven forbid if you should grow your own food and it not be safe. Like, anyway, that's a whole nother story. So that is a fight that we are trying to fight right now. But my whole point to this is maybe that's what we need to be looking at. Instead of trying to change how things are out there, instead of trying to change the system as it is right now, because I'm going to tell you guys right now, we are going to see a lot of changes, and there's going to be things that are changing that we had no clue, like we have never experienced before. Things are definitely going to be different. And even Klaus Schwab of the, you know, World Economic Forum, which I'm not even sure why this man is there. He is not a world leader of any kind. Just because he's a dude with a lot of money, his family is very dicey, but you know, he's got a lot of money, so he's going to be the head of this. He's even said that our world will change to where we won't even recognize it anymore. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what he said. So instead of doing or trying to work to change or keep that, whatever the situation, maybe it's time that we look at taking care of ourselves. And that means that all of these like little gatherings and monthly meetings that are kind of happening for people that are preparedness type people or self-sustainable or homesteady type, all of these little gatherings, maybe what needs to happen is these need to happen all over. And once those little gatherings start to really solidify themselves, then word gets out, then we can have a network across the country of people that are self-sustaining, that know how to do things, that can help provide for others. And that's what we need to do. So even if you live in a city, an apartment, it doesn't matter. Start, if it's 3 or 4 people that are like-minded, that get together, that want to be self-sustaining, that want to do things for themselves, that are really into growing your own food, producing your own food, doing things more naturally. Maybe that's what we need to be looking at, is not just getting your communities together for you, not just, okay, this is my circle of people right here, my circle, nobody else is my circle. Once you get that circle, then it's time to start networking out to different areas, because maybe they grow something that you don't, maybe they have something that you don't, and vice versa. And then you start, as you start networking, you start building that population, so to speak. And you can look at doing, you know, stores and medical centers and whatever else is out there. I mean, literally the possibilities are endless. So start small, start in your community. Don't just build up your communities just for you. Don't just be like, these are my people, my people. Now you can have your tight circle of people, absolutely. But you can have others in your outer circle that can fulfill the need as well. So there's kind of different levels there, but don't just keep those, just don't be making these big circles and then saying, okay, nobody else knows about my big circle. Start networking out to different areas, because maybe that's what it takes for our parallel society. Maybe that's what we need to do to not change things, but to really redo things. And we're not talking about a reset. You know, we talk about the Great Reset or Agenda 2030. Yeah, that's not really a reset. That's basically the government coming in, the government, the powers that be, whatever, coming in, shutting everything down, breaking everybody down to the bare minimum, and then going, okay, we're now in charge again. Just different people. Same thing, different people. Anyway, we have the opportunity to really rebuild the system, I believe. And let's build it appropriately, and let's focus on that. Build your communities, teach your kids skills, teach others skills. If you have a skill, start doing classes and workshops. That's actually how you can start building your community. Not necessarily doing like monthly meetings, but if you know how to grow herbs, do an herb growing or herb drying class and see who shows up and start talking to people. Canning, baking, soap making, lotion making, processing animals, preserving food, good grief, just outdoor cooking, outdoor survival skills, firearm training, knife training. I mean, literally, it could be something so small. And foraging, whatever. Start small. Start, hey, would you like to join? I'm going to do a workshop on this. Don't charge anything. See who shows up. Start talking to those people, because that's how you can make those connections without going, okay, we're going to have monthly meetings now. Everybody show up this time. Here we go. And you might want to do that, because you might have enough people that would do that, but you don't have to do that, is what I'm saying. There's alternatives to get that circle going and get that circle started. All right. That's what I have to say about that today. I hope you guys have a wonderful, amazing day. I have some other stuff to talk about, but we'll save that for another time. Once again, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to me. I hope you guys have a wonderful, amazing day, and we'll talk to you later.